Back when I was in the car scene, like in '03, I saw one on the freeway, and I was like, and it had the big fog lamps because it comes with fog lamps from factory, and it looked so mean, like coming down the freeway, and I was like, oh man, that thing's sweet. And that was back in '03 when these things were new. And since then, I was like, well, one day I might buy one, you know.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Motive Anatomy. Today we have Pablo. Pablo, thank you so much for reaching out, man. This is going to be a treat for all of us, man. This is so cool.
Appreciate it.
Pictures do not make justice from your Instagram. All right,
Thanks.
man. So tell us, man, what do you drive?
It's a 2003 Mazda Protege 5.
A Mazda?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Did you just change the badge?
Hey, man. I mean, I get so many people saying, "What? Is that a Subaru?" Like all the time, and then I get Subaru guys waving at me and just throwing in a peace sign. Yeah, all the time, man.
Have you started vaping?
What was that?
Have you started vaping?
Oh no.
Then you're not a true Subaru guy.
That's exactly. That's only a Subi thing.
That's
right.
the difference between the Saturn and the Subaru guy.
Exactly.
No, this is pretty cool, man. But that's just a wagon. I mean, oh man. Well, before we get into this awesome project, tell us, how did you get started in the whole modifying cars? Where did that bug start for you, man?
Well, that actually started back in '99. My dad and I had a project car, Renault, actually a French car. Yeah, and it was a Renault Fuego 1.6 turbo, and we built that motor. And to be honest, like my dad's a master tech, and he specialized in Honda Acura in the '90s. And I wasn't really into the whole car thing when I was young, but as soon as he goes, "Hey, that car in the garage is gonna be yours," and we started building it, and I had like the pistons in my hands, and that car comes like sleeved from factory. So as soon as I had like all of those things in my hand, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And it just hit me there, like, and it never went away. However, there was a moment in my, or a period in my life where it became an unhealthy obsession. And that's, I see a lot of kids doing that nowadays. And I'm like, dude, they're going down that same route, you know? But I realized I had to simplify my life after, you know, being in the car scene, deep in the car scene for like about 10 years. And I sold everything, and I got a Jalopy, a Suzuki Samurai, for
no way.
Yeah, for like $900.
You like the oddballs, man.
Yeah, and I like took that. It was a junker when I bought it.
You still modified it.
I modified it. I took it all the way up to like Northern Cali with my brother, and at that time I started to get into 4x4s, but I needed that like purge of you know, being in the car scene for so long and being deep in that whole scene, because it took all of my money and money I didn't have at that time, and it was definitely unhealthy, you know. So I think it comes with maturity. It's like you realize, oh damn, like what am I doing, you know?
I should have other, you know, goals, priorities.
Exactly.
Instead of just building the car.
Absolutely. So then you know, that happened, and then I started to like come back again, because it's like it runs in the blood, you know. Like once you once you have that going, it's like you're a true gearhead and a true enthusiast. It never goes away. But I was able to like balance it in a way, you know. So anyway, here we are. After many cars that I've owned and had and then sold, I always wanted a Protege 5, believe it or not.
Who says that? You're like the first person.
Yeah, I know, man. I saw
There's 3 people that are gonna watch this video that own the same car. They'll be like, me too.
Yeah.
But who says that? Okay, so when did you even caught your attention? I don't.
Well, back when I was in the car scene, like in '03, I saw one on the freeway, and I was like, and it had the big fog lamps because it comes with fog lamps from factory, and it looked so mean, like coming down the freeway, and I was like, oh man, that thing's sweet. And that was back in '03 when these things were new. And since then, I was like, well, one day I might buy one, you know. And I started looking, honestly, I started looking for one like in 2011, 2012 in blue. I couldn't find the blues. So always on Craigslist, you know, OfferUp, mostly Craigslist during that time. And I never found one, or never found one close to me, willing to travel, but not 500 miles for a Protege 5, right? So, so I found this one like right around the corner from me, basically. And I was like, oh my God, laser blue, non-sunroof model. It's like a gearhead or a true car enthusiast's dream, you know?
And it's just because it's lighter,
it's much
right?
lighter,
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And
what trim would this be? You said it's an S, right?
No. This is a Protege 5, but it would be like top of the line 03 with like every option available at that time.
Okay.
Leather.
But no sunroof.
Leather interior except sunroof.
Okay.
So it seems like they made this car for me. You know, I was like, man,
where's Pablo?
Yeah, I need this car.
Make him.
So I saw it on Craigslist, and I'm friends with the guy now, actually. So shout out to him, Kalani, and he sold it to me for $900. It was kind of beat, you know. It was a daily, and it had been through a lot from 03 to the time I picked it up. Original paint, clear was flaking, and suspension needed updates and replacing, and it was a challenge. I was definitely
$900. What do you expect? Yeah.
So yeah, I got it, picked it up, and I was like, okay, I can work with this. But I got it with the intention of modifying, fixing it up, and then selling. Yeah, okay. Flipping it. So maybe keep it for a few months and then sell it. But I ended up keeping it longer and longer, and then it became a year, and I was like, okay, well, now maybe is the time to sell it. So I actually did sell it, and that guy had it for about 8 months, and he was like, hey man, I'm moving, do you want to buy it back? And I was like, for sure, man, I miss that thing. And like, this is like, even though I've had many cars, when I sold this one, I was like, damn man, I shouldn't have sold this one. Yeah. So anyway, the thing is that I gladly bought it back, but the original motor was burning oil.
So then now that you've kept it, I guess, you know, obviously you've built it, what was the vision for it?
Like a track daily car, you know, kind of like a, you know, something you could drive in and be comfortable in, but at the same time be able to take it to an autocross course or track, you know.
So let's start from the front end, Pablo. What do we got going on? Because it looks very aggressive. I'm assuming it doesn't look like this at all from factory.
No, not at all. Okay. So what we have here is, well, we have a retrofit on the headlights. I was able to modify my own headlights that came out of a sedan, not a Protege 5, black out the housing and get the retrofit Morimoto kit from the retrofit source, and their HIDs that came out pretty clean. But before that, the first thing I did was get the Mazda Speed lip, and that would be this one over here. And that's not factory, by the way, that was also modified, but I got that lip, and that only came in the Mazda Speed Protege, which was a sedan in 03. So I was able to get that from my friend Fuad in San Diego, and I had that paint matched. And then the bottom portion, or bottom lip, is the Subaru STI CS2 style lip from 2007 Hawkeye. And I also added some vents on the bumper from Subaru as well, because originally that bumper has these ugly side markers, and they're big.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, man, what can I do to delete that, you know? And I came up with this idea, and I hadn't seen it done before, honestly. If I had, I would give that person credit, but I didn't. And I was like, maybe I was looking into Mercedes vents, but they were too expensive. And I was like, oh, wait, Subaru STI, 2008 Subaru STI bumper vents, $30? And they have them in...
What is
yeah,
that gonna happen?
And I was like, they have them at the dealership? All right, I mean, I have to try this out. So I just cut the bumper, and they fit almost like factory. And I was able... Thank you, man.
And then the hood?
Oh, the hood, those are Celine vents. Yeah.
You got a V8? What
Yeah,
you got under there?
it's like a Frankenstein, huh? Because the thing is that I also wanted to add some functional vents, and I was like, okay, I need to do something about like heat, and not that it was overheating, but I wanted, you know, I wanted heat to dissipate through that hood and be more functional and obviously look more aggressive.
It definitely does look more aggressive, yes.
Thanks, man. So I was able to get these Celine vents. I don't know from what year. I mean, it's a newer generation, so I'm assuming like 2018 or something like that. And cut the hood, and yeah, exactly. And threw those on there, and they don't look too bad.
Oh, they look great. They look
Thanks.
great, man. I mean, it just...
And they're functional. I didn't cut the bracing from the hood because I didn't want it to flex. But I cut the top sheet metal, and they're functional because you can feel that heat coming out.
You did a test? You put your hand?
Exactly.
It's kind of warm. Okay, it's
Right.
functional. My science works. Okay,
Right,
gotcha. Mirrors, they don't look stock. Are they stock?
No, those are like legit APC from 2003, from back in the day. Like nowadays, you really can't find these style mirrors unless you go with like cheap turn signal lights here, which I don't like.
Okay.
So these I was able to source, and I got kind of lucky. I like them.
Yeah.
It also adds to that aggressive look.
Yeah, and they look functional. They don't look like very tucked in where you can't see it, but it looks pretty.
Right.
And then the rear wing?
The rear wing, that also has its modifications. The top portion is from Spoiler King, and
Is that from an M3?
no, this
It
actually
looks like it.
this actually was custom. So Spoiler King, what they do is like, hey, measure like what you want, and we'll send that to you. So I measured, and I was in touch with the guy, and like constant communication. And I told him, hey, like, this is a measurement, like, do you think I can mold this? And he's like, yeah, but it has to get really hot. So I got that thing like burning hot, but you know, like threw it in the oven, you know, at like 250. And once it started to flex, I molded it, and
Looks great. Yeah.
it turned out really nice. So now he sells them because this was kind of like a prototype, but you do have to get it hot in order, you know,
Start the stoves.
yeah, in order to get it to mold here. And then I added a spacer there as like a little wing riser.
Because we're in the back right here. Tell us a little about your exhaust system.
That's, well, it has a full exhaust. I mean, I threw Ford Probe 4 2-to-1 headers on it. And then I have the stock resonator though, because if not, it would be like ridiculous. And then from the stock resonator back, it's 2 1/4 to a Racing Beat muffler, which Racing Beat, you know, makes parts for Mazda's high performance parts and such.
Okay.
And it's this actual Racing Beat muffler came from a Mazda Speed Protege sedan. So I had to modify the tip, because if you throw the muffler on there, the tip extends like 5-6 inches
Out?
So
You're like, nope, I like
yeah,
subtleness.
yeah, so I had to like find a tip and tuck it in there.
Looks OEM.
Thanks. That's kind of like the
I don't know if that's a
the
disrespectful
intention.
comment to say, but it looks so subtle. You know,
Yeah.
it looks good.
Yeah, it's like originally it has like a little tiny like pencil
Is it?
type
Is it just one loop too?
tailpipe. Yeah, exactly. So this is like what, like 3.5 or something, 4-inch.
We definitely beefed it up. So you beefed it up, you add a little bit of exhaust. Tell us about the suspension pieces.
BC coilovers.
Oh, do they make them for this car? Or
they make them. They still
Okay.
make them, yeah. And basically, it's the same. If you have a sedan, if you have a wagon, they're all the same from like 2000 to 2003.
Okay.
So I know spring rates vary, but this was for a MP3, 2001 MP3 actually. But I found them like new, and I got lucky with that. So yeah, BCs. I mean, you can't go wrong with BCs, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I like them.
And tell us about your wheel and tire setup.
Oh, I did forget one thing. I have the Racing Beat rear sway bar, which is also a factory option on the Mazda Speed Protege, and I have polyurethane bits all around basically to stiffen it up. Wheels and tires. Wheels are just like T37 knockoffs, but they're from MSTs, and I like them actually because they have been doing their job. I mean, I've hit so many potholes with these wheels, and I can't complain because I have like no bends are still true, and yeah, they're just good wheels. They look aggressive too, so, and they kind of flow with the car, you know. So
it seems like they sit very nicely.
Thanks.
What are the specs on those?
These are 16x8s with a 20 offset.
Okay, wow, that's good. And then the tire setup?
205 50s all around. Tires are just some affordable tires, nothing crazy at the moment. I did have better tires on it when I was running the Evo 8 Enkei wheels, but I got kind of crazy with weight, and those were too heavy, and that's why I actually got these.
Let's see what kind of interior we got, Pablo. It's a wagon. Should have everything, right? It's comfortable. So tell us, what do you got going on in the interior?
A period correct Momo steering wheel, some aluminum gauge rings for the cluster that's made by Hydra Motorsports, aluminum pedals, and I have the Mazda Speed 3 seats on here, the first gen seats, and I like these seats because they have more bolstering.
Okay.
The factory seats just don't cut it as far as bolstering goes, and I like to corner. So I needed seats that would hold me, and I found these relatively cheap, so I was like, okay, yeah, I could work with these, and they look good, and they kind of like fit the car, and it has the Mazda Speed logo on the top.
Like that? That's cool.
I thought it was pretty cool.
And then the short shifter assembly?
Short shifter with some bronze bushings from Cork Sport, and not much to it. I mean, it's pretty simple. I know I'm forgetting a few things, but it feels good. I mean, it feels like it should have come from factory. You know, if the factory shifters and shifts are very long.
It's like a boat.
The throws, yeah, exactly. So this works, and it has a very mechanical, notchy feel because it's not cable driven. It's it has a rod, like a linkage.
Okay, gotcha. And let's check out the interior, the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, lamps.
There you go.
Okay, there's no back, but it's so clean.
Thanks, man.
So that's the OEM carpet?
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't like cut it out or anything?
No. I didn't get that crazy. I didn't want to do that because it was so clean. I was like, no, I'm not gonna cut the carpet out.
So then the rear, or
lack of,
pretty cool brakes.
What you see is what you get.
This is cool though. I like it.
Thanks. My intention was to just have it clean, you know.
It definitely is, yeah.
Like factory, it has a bunch of plastics. And
you mean safety?
Yeah. No, not really safety, honestly. It's just like trim, so like you can't access dampening here. So that was like the first thing. I was like, man, like having BCs in the back and you want to adjust them, you can, because you have like the tower right from the seat belts, now that I remember, and plastic, and I was
it
like,
was
okay,
safety. I told you, it's not
Safety,
supposed to.
right.
Yeah, you're not supposed to change the dampening on any car, you know, that is
Right.
street. And so you're complaining about that. Okay, cool. And so what made you decide? Okay, this is as far as gutted I'm gonna go, or are you still kind of debating on?
No,
going,
no.
This is
is
it?
as far
Okay.
as I'm gonna go, because I want to keep it clean. You know, I don't want to strip it completely. It's not necessarily a track car.
Okay.
It's still a daily. I still
Yet.
have AC and power steering,
Oh, okay.
and I'm not gonna remove those. So it's kind of like in between.
Okay.
You know.
Wait to see how big the turbo is, or the supercharger.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're like me neither. Oh, nice. This is pretty cool.
Thanks, man.
Man, extremely clean. Okay,
Naturally aspirated.
what are we staring at, Pablo? Man, this is dope.
This is a high compression FSZE, true high compression FSZE JDM motor. And
All
I
right,
say,
so give us a little bit of, you already told me off camera, but tell us
Right.
a little bit what that means, a true JDM high compression.
so the thing is that there's like kind of a confusion in this community, that when you see this box from the intake manifold, which is like a resonance chamber box, automatically it's a high compression motor, and that's false, because I did my research, and I had to do a lot of research. Most of the JDM FS motors that come from Japan are US spec. They're not high compression, and those were the ones that came off of the Mazda MPV minivan. The high compression motor is definitely harder to find, because these came off of the Mazda Capella, which would be the 626 that we got here. And they offered this particular engine in that model because it was all-wheel drive, and I'm guessing it was more of a sports sedan. However, it wasn't automatic in Japan. So anyway, when I got this motor, I mean, I had to really source this motor because I couldn't find a real high compression motor. One of the dead giveaways is the intake cam, the FSH9 cam, intake cam. That kind of like gives it away. Okay, that's a high compression motor. But you also have other like clues. You have the valve cover that has studs on it. This one doesn't, because I replaced it. Because that model with the studs has an engine cover. And finally, what you can do is like stick a probe down through the spark plug hole and look at the piston, if it's a flat top or a more flat top piston versus the dished piston that comes in the FSDE, then it would be a high compression motor, of course.
Wow. So there's some science to it.
Yeah, just a little.
So then let's okay, so this is a pretty awesome thing. I love it. NA. Let's start with the bolt-ons. Let's start with the coolant. What have you done to kind of upgrade the coolant, or is it
Cooling system is bone stock.
Okay.
I haven't done much to it.
No
And
issues?
it's more than enough. Obviously, I would like to get an aluminum Mishimoto radiator, but that's not a priority for me right now, because there's so much that needed to be done to this car when I got it, and that I've done later on, that I mean, I kind of have to prioritize, you know. But I wanted this high compression motor because I thought, you know, I want to do something different. Everyone turbos the DE, and well, that's a generalization, of course, not everyone, but
to get more power, they tend to do that though.
Yeah, there's
it's
a tendency
yeah.
to just you know, slap a turbo on it on the DE, and then you get some go immediately. So it's obviously more difficult to go this route and get power out of it, because the factory ECU doesn't help, and you can't really find parts to get power out of this NA motor, you know? Right. But I was able to find some rare parts, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go NA, because it's something that isn't really done that often.
Taking more pride, right?
Right.
So then tell us a little about the bolt-ons. What have you done the motor obviously has been built. Tell us a little about all of that.
Okay, so factory high compression JDM motor, full exhaust. This is a 4:2-to-1 header versus a 4-to-1 because they don't make a 4:2-to-1 for the Protege. So you have to take a Ford Probe 2.0 FS header and modify it to work on the Protege platform. So I have that going on. Fidanza lightweight flywheel, of course, with a new clutch, stock clutch. An SR Performance lightweight crank pulley. I was lucky to source a FS9P, which are extremely rare exhaust cam that was made by Corksport, actually, because Corksport made replicas of the FS9P cam.
Mm-hmm.
The FS9P cam was only offered on the Mazda Speed in Japan that was naturally aspirated.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't make it too often because it had issues idling when it's cold. And when this is cold, it'll like blop, 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 you know, it'll
then
like...
once it warms up, it's good.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I also, as far as engine management, I got lucky and I sourced a 2001 Mazda MP3 ECU, and they didn't make a lot of those, only 1,000. So a lot of people are going to say, wait, but what that does is advance timing. Correct, it advances timing, but that's what you have a knock sensor for. I mean, it's not gonna detonate, and it's nothing crazy. This one does has VIX though, and VIX is a variable, what was it? I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but basically it's a system, variable inertia charging system, something like that. And basically what it does is the ECU sends a signal at specific RPM, like 5,000, and it opens up these flaps at high RPM to produce a bit more horsepower. So lower end torque at lower RPM and more power at higher RPM.
Mazda version of VTEC.
Exactly, basically it's in
from the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's pretty cool though. That's pretty cool technology.
Yeah, it's simple because it's vacuum. It's run by vacuum basically, and it works. And I mean, so the Mazda Speed Protege sedan that was offered in 2003 came factory with 170 horsepower. I feel confident that 170 obviously to the crank, and I feel pretty confident that this is close to that.
To the wheel?
Maybe even more, who knows, but I think around there. So
it hasn't been dyno, hasn't been
no, it hasn't, but I you know, like factory is 130 horsepower and it's a dog, it doesn't move. This thing moves now, so I think it's you know, like throwing 40 horsepower at it, you know, like throwing 170 horsepower number at it isn't ridiculous. Just
all right, Paulo, thank you so much, man, for making the time to show us this car. It's amazing. Thank you for reaching out.
Thank you.
Definitely a car that, like I told you, I wouldn't think of. I like wagons, and I have seen a Mazda wagon this generation, but not one to think, let me modify. And with this, it definitely is gonna have some people thinking twice about it. It looks extremely aggressive. I love what you've done with it. Even as far as modifying a bracket for the ECU that was too heavy to make it lighter. And I love that, man. I love that you've been getting, you know, you got creative and you went, you know, and sourced very specific rare parts. So I love that. Any shout outs, man?
Definitely. Well, everyone in the community, I don't know these people personally, but shout out to all of the Mazda Protege fans that follow me on Instagram. I used to have an Instagram, a few thousand followers, deleted that. I needed a purge from and to be away from Instagram for a while, actually. Started it back up, and I have a few friends on there, so shout out to them. And Fuad in San Diego also, who's also a Protege fanatic and connoisseur actually of this platform. Family, shout out to them, my dad, of course, because everything I've learned and know I've learned from him. My mom, my sister, my lady, my daughter, and my brother. You know who you are. So love you all, and just appreciate you taking a look at this as well, because I think it's definitely worthy, you know, and it's more of a rare piece, rare car. But yeah, man, thanks, and thanks to everyone as well.
No, man, thank you. Honestly, the honor's ours. Thank you so much for taking the time, showing us this amazing project, and really cannot wait to see what you do with it. I mean, maybe you go crazy and start, you know, building it even really, really crazy.
Exactly.
But we love what you've done to it, and thank you once again for your time, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.